Morning. This is month 3 of the extreme MAGA Republican majority in the House of Representatives. And they have nothing to show for it. Extreme MAGA Republicans in the House have done nothing on the economy, nothing on inflation, nothing on job creation, nothing on economic growth, and nothing on health care. But today, extreme MAGA Republicans passed a bill that puts politics over parents and will ban books, censor librarians, and bully children. It's shameful. Rather than actually invest in empowering parents, making sure parents have the opportunity to be engaged and involved in the education of their children, the extreme MAGA Republicans want to jam their right-wing ideology down the throats of students, teachers, and parents throughout America. Extreme MAGA Republicans want to ban books on the Holocaust. Ban books on the Holocaust. Extreme MAGA Republicans want to ban books on Martin Luther King Jr. Extreme MAGA Republicans want to ban books on the LGBTQ journey in the United States of America. Extreme MAGA Republicans even want to ban a book on Roberto Clemente and baseball. What's more American than baseball and apple pie? But extreme MAGA Republicans want to ban a book on baseball. And of course, extreme MAGA Republicans want to ban a book on the Native American experience in the United States of America. That's their educational agenda. They're out of touch, and they are out of control. House Democrats understand that the American people want us to solve real problems, want us to build upon the track record of success that we had in the last Congress in fighting for lower costs and better paying jobs and safer communities. That's what House Democrats are going to continue to do. But unfortunately, the extreme MAGA Republicans simply want to jam their ideology down the throats of the American people in ways that will adversely impact the ability of parents to decide what books their children should be exposed to as part of their children's educational journey here in this great country. Questions?
Mr. Jeffries, in one of his late-night Truth Social missives last night, the former president said there would be a potential for, quote, death and destruction should Alvin Bragg choose to charge him in his investigation. What's your response to that?
Well, the twice impeached former president's rhetoric is reckless, reprehensible, and irresponsible. It's dangerous, and if he keeps it up, he's going to get someone killed. We've already seen the consequences of incitement from the former president. He is principally responsible for inciting the violent insurrection that happened on January 6th. But clearly he has not learned his lesson. It's also very unfortunate that the extreme MAGA Republicans in the House of Representatives continue to back President Trump and his reckless and his violent and his hateful and his disgusting rhetoric.
The U.S. carried out retaliatory airstrikes against Iranian groups in Syria last night. Were you briefed on that, and do you think that was an appropriate measure for the Biden administration to take?
Yeah, well, I don't comment on sensitive national security matters in that regard in terms of what briefings may or may not have taken place. But it certainly appears that it was a strike that was necessitated by an attack on American citizens and interests, and it appears to be proportional. Third row. Haven't had the opportunity to fully review all of the testimony coming out of yesterday's Energy and Commerce hearing. There are real national security concerns with respect to TikTok. There are real privacy concerns with respect to TikTok. And there are real consumer protection concerns with respect to TikTok. And I look forward to continuing to engage with all of the members of the House Democratic Caucus and hopefully Republicans and Democrats in the Senate on appropriate measures that can be taken to address these serious concerns. In terms of the second question, I look forward to hearing from Representative Lee and Representative Crockett in terms of what came out of their visit. Yeah, second row. We haven't had a recent conversation with respect to the debt ceiling. I think he understands that my position on this matter is clear. We need to raise the debt ceiling because we have a responsibility as a Congress to pay bills that have already been incurred, that Congress has already signed off on, to avoid the catastrophic economic consequences that could result from a default on our nation's debt for the first time in American history, which will adversely impact everyday Americans in every way possible. A default on our debt, or even threatening to default, is going to cost the American people individually and as families, in some cases, tens of thousands of dollars as a result of increased interest in terms of credit card payments, mortgage payments, student loan debt payments, and in other areas that would clearly do grave damage to the people who we should be protecting here in Washington. Now, as I've mentioned repeatedly, in terms of the relationship with Speaker McCarthy, it's been a positive, forward-looking relationship with a consistency to it in terms of discussing matters that are before the House of Representatives and trying to find common ground whenever and wherever possible in the best interest of the American people. Yeah, I think the concern here is that what is being unleashed is an opportunity, and in schools across the country, you have librarians. And so what is clear in terms of the book bans that will emerge from this legislation that's being pushed is that the extreme MAGA Republicans are effectively saying that if anyone in any school has an objection to a book, even if it's an objection to books about the Native American experience, books about civil rights, books about the Holocaust, books about baseball, Roberto Clemente, books about Dr. King. If any single person has an objection to a book, that book must be removed from the classroom or from the school library. That is censorship. That is a book ban, because it effectively means that individuals are not simply being empowered to say that they prefer that someone in their family not have an opportunity to read about the Holocaust or slavery or the Civil Rights Movement or the Asian American experience in America. No. That the book should be banned for everyone. The book should be removed from the school library. The book should be removed from the classroom. Yeah.
Can you expand a little bit on what you think the next step is in the debt ceiling negotiations? The president has said he wants to see the Republican plan, but there's necessary next step? Should there be more meetings between the president and Leader McCarthy?
What needs to happen is that House Republicans need to show us their plan. What is your plan for dealing with the economic health and well-being of the economy and the country? President Biden has released his budget plan weeks ago. It's in the public domain. It will invest in the health, the safety, the economic well-being of the American people. It will protect Social Security. It will strengthen Medicare. It will reduce the deficit. That's the Biden budget plan. That's a plan that House Democrats strongly support. How can you have a discussion about anything if one side has put a plan into the public domain and the Republican budget plan is in the witness protection program? It's in an undisclosed location. The extreme MAGA Republicans are hiding their plans from the American people. In that kind of situation, how can we reasonably have a conversation? The only thing we can do is to assume that what extreme MAGA Republicans want to do is consistent with what they've done in the past. They want to repeal the Affordable Care Act. They want to dramatically cut Social Security. They want to end Medicare as we know it. They want to undermine nutrition programs throughout the United States. They want to devastate veterans' benefits. And every single one of those things is a non-starter. Not simply for House Democrats or Senate Democrats. It's a non-starter for the American people.
Congressman Jeffries.
I'll go back over to you in a minute. Yeah.
Two questions. First, on the bipartisan concerns about TikTok, which you brought up. The only people in Congress who seem to are actively defending TikTok and opposing a ban are a handful of House Democrats. Wondering what the dynamic in the conference is on that. And then secondly, it seems like there's a lot of frustration recently on the part of Democrats with what Republicans are doing with their committees. You've had members skip a couple of field hearings at the border, and yesterday Congressman Ivey at this podium accused Republicans of trying to get DA Bragg to commit a felony by breaking grand jury laws with their letter for his testimony. How much is that frustration piling up with on the committee level among Democrats?
Well, we're going to continue to focus on putting people over politics, fighting for lower costs, fighting for better paying jobs, fighting for safer communities, defending democracy, fighting for reproductive freedom, and building an economy from the middle out and the ground up. That's our agenda. We want to solve problems for the American people. We want to make life better for everyday Americans. At our core, that is in the Democratic DNA. And there is perhaps frustration that instead of working with Democrats to solve problems on behalf of the American people, the extreme MAGA Republicans are recklessly trying to jam their ideology down the throats of this country in a variety of ways, including by banning books. That's their focus. That's the bill that they brought to the floor today. Politics over parents, as opposed to actually trying to solve problems that the American people face.
And on TikTok?
Well, on TikTok, there are ongoing conversations and discussions. The hearing just took place yesterday. We had an active discussion amongst some of the top Democrats on a variety of committees earlier today on a variety of issues. And I'm confident that it will be a thoughtful, comprehensive discussion as we move forward on TikTok and as it relates to other social media platforms with respect to privacy protections for the American people.
Another Republican school controversy is their assertion that the FBI has been weaponized against people who express dissent in school board meetings. They're even trying to link some sort of reform with funding for a new FBI headquarters. What's your strongest argument at this point against that kind of allegation?
Well, the so-called House Republican Weaponization Committee, which is really a committee to obstruct justice and a committee to protect insurrectionists, has been a complete disaster for them. The public doesn't support it because they understand that the only thing that's really being weaponized is the extreme MAGA Republican majority weaponizing the Congress against the interests of everyday Americans. And the public is smart. The American people are smart. They're not buying any of the foolishness that extreme MAGA Republicans have been saying about the weaponization of the FBI. But this is a group now, extreme MAGA Republicans, led by their former president, who are actively inciting violence against law enforcement professionals. They want to defund the FBI. They don't actually support law and order. Extreme MAGA Republicans are about lawlessness and disorder.
Very quick two ones. First, you have confidence in Alvin Bragg, and the second one is Republicans said you lied yesterday, and you said they don't want to teach Americans kids about the Holocaust. So, any kind of response to that?
Listen, the reality is that if you look at the state laws upon which H.R. 5 has been based, books connected to the teaching of the Holocaust have been banned. And that is exactly the model that H.R. 5, the Republican bill that puts politics over parents, has been based upon. It's not complicated. They don't want children in America, through the consent of their parents, to be able to make the decisions on their own. Instead, these extreme MAGA Republicans want to determine what books the American people should be exposed to. This is a debate that we can have all day, every day, because what is in their bill is clear. In fact, I think there was an amendment that was put forward by Raul Grijalva before the Education and Labor Committee, which related specifically to the prohibition on book bans and censorship. And it said, nothing in this act may be construed to allow the banning or censorship of books in public elementary or public secondary schools. Every single Republican voted against this amendment. In other words, they voted to support the banning of books. And in our view, in our estimation, that includes the banning of books on the Holocaust, on the Civil Rights Movement, on slavery, on women's history, on Native American history, on the LGBTQ journey, on Latino history, on Asian American history, and as it relates to baseball. Books related to Roberto Clemente removed in Florida. Books related to Jewish history and the Holocaust removed from Florida. This is documented. And the House Republican legislation is based on what has taken place in Florida and in Texas.
And Bragg, do you have confidence in Bragg?
Yeah. I believe that D.A. Bragg will continue to follow the facts, apply the law, and be guided by the Constitution.
If I could just follow up, who exactly will be making the decision about which books to ban? How will they initiate this?
Well, you can look at the legislation on your own and come to a conclusion on that, but a plain reading of the legislation empowers individuals to make a determination that they don't want books in classrooms and they don't want books in school libraries. And once that happens, the book is removed from the classroom and the book is removed from the school library. Not as it relates to any one child, as it relates to every single child in that school. That's a ban. That's a book ban.
And it would happen immediately when the parent raises a concern? Or is there like tricky language in there?
Well, I mean, I think that is to be ascertained. But the reality is, based on the plain, clear language, this is not debatable. It's a book ban. And that's what they've decided to do. In fact, when you talk to some of the extreme MAGA Republicans throughout the country, they're not running away from the fact that they are banning books. They are leaning into the fact that they are banning books, that they don't want our children, the American people, taught certain things about the American journey, which is shameful because part of what makes America strong, what makes America great, what leads to American exceptionalism is the fact that we can continue to work hard year after year, decade after decade, century after century to address any imperfections and make America the best version of herself. That's one of the reasons why we're such a great country. But Republicans want to determine on their own, based on their extreme MAGA ideology, a single individual who objects to something on the Holocaust, objects to something on the Civil Rights Movement, objects to Dr. King, objects to Rosa Parks, objects to Roberto Clemente, objects to books about Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, and the book is gone for every child. That's not America. That's not democracy. That's not consistent with the First Amendment, freedom of thought, freedom of speech, and freedom of expression. Thank you.